You're live.
Thank you, sir. I will call to order the public hearing that we have and ask the clerk to take roll call, please.
Counselor Ross Freganera.
Here.
Counselor Chenoweth.
Here.
Counselor Kwanzo.
Present.
Counselor Guy is absent. Counselor Hinchman.
Here.
Counselor Lowther. Absent. Counselor Parker.
Yes.
Counselor Severino.
Here.
Counselor Vest.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Okay, this is a public hearing and ordinance for the Common Council of the City of Elkins, West Virginia, renewing franchise agreement with Sequel 3 Communication 2, doing business as Optimum. Is there anyone here for public comment tonight? Pat, how are you? Please state your name and address, if you would, for the record.
Patrick Varchetto, 217 Sylvester Drive. I had a chance to look at what you all are going to look at tonight. Did we have any representation in these meetings? I mean, I thought we were looking for some place we could go. I thought Suddenlink or Optimum, whoever they want to call themselves this week, was going to put an office in somewhere. At least that's what was discussed when it first started, and I've been here, 4 or 5 times? I mean, this is boilerplate. If we paid anybody to look into this, we need to get our money back. Short, sweet, and simple. Now, we had an outage this week, yet again. I still haven't found out what the heck went on. Are you going to help us? That's all I'm asking. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here for comment today? If not, we will now close the public hearing. Okay, we are now going to have the invocation, which will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'll bow your heads, please. Heavenly Father, we ask you this day to give us the blessings. Well, I'm sorry. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and the blessings you've given us. We thank you for providing us the opportunity to serve the citizens of Elkins. We ask that you guide us in our decision-making as we strive to help our community grow. We also ask that you watch over and guide our country's leaders. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. I will now call the Common Council meeting to order and ask our city clerk to take roll, please.
Counselor Ross Freganera.
Here.
Counselor Chenoweth.
Here.
Counselor Kwanzo.
Present.
Counselor Guy is absent. Counselor Hinchman.
Here.
Counselor Lowther is absent. Counselor Parker.
Here.
Counselor Severino.
Here.
Counselor Vest. You
Here.
have a quorum.
Thank you. Okay, we have a few adjustments that we will address later on in the agenda. Is there anyone here for public comment tonight? If not, we will go down to the minutes portion, and I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes from the December 1st, 2022 meeting.
So moved.
We have a motion. Any comments or discussion? If none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Okay, in your correspondence and notifications, you have your building permits, approved minutes of committees, board and commission meetings, and event requests. And if you have no questions there, we will have a presentation from the Taggers Valley United Way. This is Miss Angela Daniels. So welcome, Angela.
That screen was Criminal Minds, if that's what you were thinking of.
Here we are. I would like to express my gratitude for you guys letting me come to present. Since I started with United Way, I've been really blown away by how many people we help and how many organizations that we help fund. So I put together this presentation for you. Our campaign slogan this year is "It starts with you," because we want people to know you can't, think that your neighbor's donating or somebody down the street's donating and you don't have to worry about it. It really does. It takes everybody, every person in a community. And if you think of the population of all of our communities, if everybody just gave $5 or $10, we could do so much good for the funded partners that we help. A little bit about us. During the pandemic, Marion and Taylor County United Way and Randolph decided to merge. And one of the reasons for that was they learned how important it was for organizations to work together during the pandemic and just work together in general. It kind of reminds me of that old stone soup, One organization can do some, another organization can bring something else to the table, and before long you have, your soup. So also we noticed that Barber and Tucker County did not have a United Way, so we went ahead and expanded and added them in as well. And some people have asked me about the merger and, how it benefits Randolph County, and the answer to that is we've been able to give out since the merger even more in Randolph County than we had before. So we're not losing any money, and we've also been able to help more people in our 5 counties. And United Way was recognized by Forbes.com as the 26th most valued brand in the world, and we were proud that it was the only nonprofit included on that list. The way that we do our funding, nonprofit agencies submit their applications to become our funded partners. We have about 40 volunteers that we ask in the community, and these are just normal community members. We ask them to become a part of our community review committee, and they're assigned agencies that they go out and review, usually 2. And then they come back, and we do it via Zoom now since we're the 5 counties, and they become advocates for that organization. And they tell the other people on the committee what all they do and who all we help. The committee then decides how much funding to allocate to each agency. And the agency programs are funded for 1 year. And we make them reapply just to be fair, and plus the community review committee really goes in depth. We make sure that they go over their audit, they go over their budget, things like that, because we're also responsible for our donor dollars. So when people donate to us, we want them to know that we are doing the absolute best we can and putting their money where it needs to go. Here's some of our community partners that we help fund. We also audited CLIMB this year in Randolph County. That's a mentoring organization where we go into the schools, and I can say we because I actually joined myself. We have lunch with a student once a week. It's usually a student that a teacher picks that might need some more help with homework or just some more attention. And we go in and help them and have lunch with them, and they actually give up the recess to hang out with us. The motto of United Way is that we improve lives by mobilizing the caring power of communities around the world to advance the common good. We've been following the Alice report in West Virginia. I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but Alice represents 27% of West Virginians who work but struggle to survive. Alice stands for Asset Limited, Income Constrained Employed. If you combine West Virginia households earning below the Alice threshold with those living below the federal poverty level, it's 47% of West Virginia households. That's almost half. And they face financial hardship every day in every county across the state. Besides doing our funding our funded partners, we like to do community impact programs, and I'll go over each one of these. Our 211 number is a free and confidential service provided by United Way. It helps connect area residents to critical health and social service resources when they need help the most. You might say, well, somebody can just Google that, but you would not believe the people that just want to call and talk to somebody, that just want to be heard. And Google can't do that. And they can't give you that empathy that a real live operator can give you. And our 211 collaborators in 2021 took over 31,000 calls. We do our Warm Coats, Warm Hearts drive. If you're wondering how bad the coats are needed, last year we collected and donated over 2,600 winter items, and we still had phone calls. So, and we're doing it again this year, and we've extended it a little bit longer till January. And you can find a list of people that are doing our drive on our website. But I also have a 24-hour drop-off box at the West Virginia Wood Technology Center over on 11th Street, and that's where my office is too, just in case anybody's wondered about that. Our main office is in Fairmont, but I have a regional office here in Elkins. In Marion and Taylor County, we are piloting, it's an after-school program for middle school students. Every day they receive a hot meal, homework prep, opportunities for physical activity, as well as access to other artistic and scientific activities. We chose middle schoolers because we know that they want to be independent, but we also know that sometimes they need a little guidance and supervision. So far it's going great. The stats on their absenteeism at school has went down. Their grades have went up. A lot of good positive feedback on that. We also did United for Kids. One of the things that I love about our United Way is we actually go and ask people and we ask the community, what do you need? We don't want to take something somewhere that's more of a bother to somebody than them actually needing it. So we actually asked teachers, and they said, everybody thinks of back-to-school supplies, but nobody thinks of hygiene items for the kids. Students, I should say, because high school, students. But that's the only place that they can ask for things. A lot of younger kids couldn't go out and get jobs and go buy shampoo and stuff themselves. And we also wanted to make sure that kids could be there to learn and not have to worry about being dirty or hungry. So we were able to stock all 50 of our schools in our 5 counties, their hygiene pantries this year. And to give you an idea of how many items we got, we spent a Sunday and we had about 20 volunteers, and we spent 8 hours, 20 volunteers, packing up stuff for each school. And we used the IKEA bags that hold up to 200 pounds, and then we delivered them all in our van to all of the 50 schools. We also do Born Learning Trails. United Way Worldwide, we get it from them. They are trails that's been designed by experts, and they are more for like preschool children. They help build early learning skills, which are critical for school readiness. And what I love about them, it actually encourages the parents to get, on the trail and play with them. And it's very interactive, and they have to go around the park and find different trees, and the signs say different things. But we have one in all 5 of our counties now, so we're proud of that. And here's some pictures from our Born Learning Trails. We also do VITA. This year our goal is to do 1,000 tax returns with people. And what VITA stands for is Volunteer Income Tax Assistance. Last year we helped file over 442 tax returns, and the refunds totaled $455,040. And so we helped people save $110,000 in filing fees. And we had an AmeriCorps team that we was really proud of. They did great work. They helped us with Flipside and VITA last year. One thing we do every year on the first day of summer, we have what we call our Day of Action. We ask people in the community to work one day a year from 12 to 4. We usually have a kickoff at the park here in Elkins and also one in Marion County. We give lunch and t-shirts. And the reason that we like to do this is not only to help our funded partners with projects that they might not be able to do throughout the year, but it also gets the community actually in their doors, finding out what our funded partners do and who all they help. And just to give you an idea of what kind of impact it has on people, last year some people that was helping at Catholic Charities went out on their own and got some canned goods and stuff and brought them to my office for me to take to Catholic Charities, because it just impacted them, seeing how many people they help and what all they do. We also have a website that we're really proud of. It's called Volunteer HQ. And I love this because agencies can sign up, but also volunteers sign up. So you can also filter it by distance, or if it's family friendly, if you want your whole family to go, or if it's handicap accessible. And the agencies can put on there, like, they need somebody on Saturday from 10 to 4. And the Humane Society uses this a lot for various things, for like dog walking and things like that. And I think that is all I have. I gave you all a contribution guide. And I wanted to show you on this page, it's actually perforated. If you'd like to send in $5, $10, we'd be happy to take it. But I also wanted to show you how we did this, and I thought it was neat. You can actually designate where you want your money to go. You can designate if you want to keep it in your county, or if you want us just to put it in our general fund and it goes wherever it needs to be. But you can also pick a 501c3 that's not one of our funded partners. We want people that, want to be able to give to whatever's near and dear to their heart. It doesn't necessarily have to be to one of our funded partners. We just like to know that people want to give and want to be a part of their community and help their community. Does anybody have any questions?
At the very, very beginning, you had mentioned like a mentor program that you go once a week and you have lunch with a student. What was the name of that again?
It's CLIMB. I can't
Climb.
remember what what it stands. It's Connecting Loving. Sorry, I'll have to get back to you.
That's fine. And you can connect with that group through,
I would contact Chris Wilmoth at the Randolph County Development Authority.
okay. Thank you.
Angela, is, for the Volunteer HQ, that's just agencies that are putting needs on there? It's not
Not only-
individuals?
Not only agents, just agencies,
Okay.
yes. And then the volunteers can sign up as volunteers.
Okay.
Thank you for having me. Anybody else have any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, down to our committee reports, and we'll start with Councilor Chenoweth.
With respect to the Personnel Committee, no report as we didn't have a meeting this month. Next meeting will be January 12th, 2023. Special Hiring Committee, the results of our work are on the agenda tonight is Resolution 1592, and sitting in the back of the room here is Mr. Kiesecker and his wife, the applicant that we've recommended. So we'll take that up a little bit later, but other than that, I have nothing further.
Thank you, sir. Councilor Henchman.
Yes, Finance met on December the 6th, and we went over online payment software with a presentation by our treasurer, and we recommended one. We'll vote on it tonight. The elevator still got problems, so we're looking at the severance, the coal severance, to fund that particular project. And then we also had discussions on the operations manager's position salary.
Thank you. Councilor Severino.
No report.
Thank you. Councilor Ross-Reganera.
The Rules and Ordinance Committee met this past week, and we had a great discussion regarding our current animal ordinance, and are going through that. There'll be probably one more meeting going through the old one and bringing it up to date. And we're looking at extending certain areas of the ordinance. And I would like to say that it's been a great process. Having other people involved with the conversation, having input from the administrative officers has been fantastic, and I'm really excited about the work being done at that group. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilor Kwanzo.
Good evening. Municipal properties, the discussion at hand on Wednesday, this past Wednesday, was the leases that have been negotiated with the assistance of our attorney, and Melody Himes, and she has met with the lessees at Darden, and they have come to some agreements. So the leases are ready, and if you have any particular questions about the leases, I would refer it to Jerry. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Vest.
I have no report. The next meeting will be January the 17th at 1 o'clock.
Thank you. Councilor Parker.
In public safety, we discussed at some length the ongoing work with dilapidated structures. I think we're in a good place in terms of being able to make progress on that. And we looked at what might be, if you will, we formalized our highest 5 priority properties. We looked at prioritizing, said the next 5. And we probably talked too long about that, but it was okay. But the point is, I think that we're making some really good progress on that, and you will see a number of these structures coming down in fairly short order. The task force on substance abuse and homelessness, we are continuing to work on the same priorities that I've laid out for you before. I think we are making progress. We had a very good meeting on Wednesday, yesterday, with the larger group, the larger task force group, which is all the community partners, very productive. And I hope we take note of how many people are doing good things in this community. They really are in harness, and they're all pulling in the same direction. And that was made abundantly clear once again in the meeting yesterday. And that's it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. And I do agree, Dave, that we have a lot of good community partners that are providing services that are vital to our community. And yes, there are some that we're deficient on, but we're also working on that while they're continuing to do their hard work. So, and the numbers yesterday that were reported were impressive. Okay, down to the staff reports. I don't have much staff left sitting over there tonight, so we'll start with Ms. Judy.
Good evening. In your packet, you should have 3 different documents. The first one is the monthly summary for November. Everything seems to be going well so far, and I can tell you that the water fund is making some gains. It has been slow but sure. Hopefully within the next 2 to 3 months, we'll get back where we need to be as far as paying our vendors within 30 days. Anybody have any questions regarding the monthly report?
Tracy, I do.
Yes, sir.
When do you think it would be realistic for us to have some kind of projections of where our revenues are heading for the year, where you think they're going to come in? I know we're early in the fiscal year for that right now, but I'm just wondering.
For the general fund?
Yeah.
Well, if you take a look at that summary, we've completed 41.67% of the year, and we have almost 60% of our revenues. That's not unusual because revenues have a tendency to slow, especially with the county taxes. We received a check this month, I believe it was just for around $8,000 for the property taxes. Our probably the next biggest tax check we get will either be in March or April. But as of right now, if everything else goes along as planned, I believe we'll make our budget maybe in excess a little bit, but
Thank you.
a little premature to say definitely.
Thanks, Tracy.
You're welcome. Any other questions regarding that? Okay, the next document I have is regarding the fire and police pension. The city has completed their contribution for fiscal year '23, and the police pension fund has received a state allocation of $132,553.97 this year. I anticipate both of the pension plans will be 100% funded unless there's something unusual that occurs, but we'll find that out late summer next fall. And then the next page that you have are the bank account balances of all the funds in the accounts that we have as of November 30th. Any questions regarding any of that? Okay,
Just,
you have, pardon?
Just to be
Sorry.
clear, with the ARPA, although there's funds listed there, they've all been allocated. Is
All
that
but
correct?
about $40,000, is that
I
correct?
think
Is
it might even
somewhere?
be less than
Like,
that.
Yeah,
I think it might be
Okay.
closer to 20.
right.
Okay. And then will we be meeting again to start conversations about how to allocate the rest of the 20,000?
We haven't had any discussions yet, but I'm more than willing, but I think we need to probably wait and see on a couple of them to see if they're going to go over.
Okay.
All right. This evening, you have two resolutions. First of all, Resolution 1594. I'm requesting that you approve the agreement with Invoice Cloud. This is part of the online pay information I've been trying to gather over the last 6 months, viewing many different vendors, and it came down to two that I presented to Finance. It came down to Tyler, or ERP, which is our current software company, and Invoice Cloud. Now, Invoice Cloud bought PSN, who is our current online bill pay vendor. There's not a whole lot of negotiating when it comes to credit card rates. Basically, it's the same no matter what vendor you have. But in light of Invoice Cloud coming in cheaper, and they do have the ability, which they are doing now with our utility bills, to interface with our software, I recommend going with them. That also, at this point in time, we will not have to have customers who are currently registered to re-register with the new company, which could be a little headache, to say the least. So I would appreciate approval on that. And also, just to let you know, from January through November, the online payments, basically online and in person, has been $25,015 is what that has occurred with our vendor currently. So we're looking at increasing that as we're able to take more payments for just other than utility bills, fire fees. We're looking at business license, B&Os, special pickups, just a wide range of things that we're going to be required as of March 1st to take. All of those will not be up and ready to go, but I've had confirmation with the state auditor's office, as long as it's in the works, will be okay. Then Resolution 1595 is approving the financing agreement for the sewer cleaner vehicle that came in. The sanitary board approved Truist as the lender at the December 8th meeting, and our city attorney can maybe delve into this a little bit more, maybe at the resolution, but the reason why we brought it to city council, one of the reasons is because all of the vehicles currently are titled in the city of Elkins' name. So we believe that the council needs to approve that as well. But I will say the sanitary board approved it unanimously. Received confirmation today that the PEI health insurance premium is going to increase 9.7% for fiscal year '24. I have been looking at insurance premiums, and we've been discussing that in personnel. And we're planning a joint meeting sometime in January to review what options are out there, whether we stick with PEIA or go with some other plan. And that date, I don't believe, has been set yet. Other things that are going on in the office is we're preparing the B&Os, the annual and the fourth quarter B&Os, to be mailed out at the end of the month. The ExecuTime, the new time clock software, we're in the early stages of implementing that. There will be configuration and testing. I will be probably unavailable the first week in January because I'll have 4 to 5 hours of configuration work with the software company in getting that put in. The accounts payable clerk and myself are also have been taking training and working on the implementation of US Bank, which will be the new P-card, purchasing card vendor for the state. So anybody that has purchasing cards within the city will be receiving new ones by the end of the year. And then sometime, hopefully by the middle of January, we'll get the budget worksheets out to the admin officers, and they can start working with their respective departments. And that's all I have, if anybody has any questions.
I just had a little one on the online payment software.
Yes.
Thing that you, does it integrate into our software as well, so that it makes it a little easier for?
Yes, and that was one of the things that I really wanted to happen, because it's real time with PSN, which was just purchased by Invoice Cloud. When a payment is made, we get that into our software within 15 minutes. And I'm looking for all of that. It's going to take a lot of work with our software company to get any of those payments that have a specific or a unique ID number in order to get those pulled in. But the plan is to do that, yeah, so. Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. Okay, we're going to go back to the committee report real quick. Councilor Lowder, do you have anything tonight?
Parks will meet next Wednesday at 5 p.m.
Thank you, sir. Okay, Chief Himes.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a couple things this evening. Updated the call volume as of today. We're 621 for the year. As was reported in the last council meeting, the lieutenant's exam was administered a week ago today. Went off without a hitch. The scores were extremely close. Civil service meeting tomorrow to certify the list, and we'll deal with that next month. Starting to work on some training opportunities as we look forward to 2023 and kind of get our scheduling planned out. One of the things hopefully that's going to happen very soon after the first of the year, we're going to be working with the investigation division from the State Fire Marshal's office, and they're going to come to town and give us a fatal fire investigation class. I need to work on a property, and I'll be meeting with one of the lead investigators on Monday over that. We're also going to be partnering with Buchanan and getting the remainder of the paid staff certified to the hazmat technician level. That's probably going to happen February or March. So, just trying to stay ahead of the game here. Anybody have any questions about anything for me?
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Ms. Sutton.
Just a few things to mention. I don't want to steal your thunder, Mayor, but the mayor made an appointment to the Elkins Historic Landmarks Commission. Mr. Vargo has been appointed to replace Ms. Higgins, who vacated that upon her move. So he'll start integrating with that commission. We are still looking for interested persons for the Board of Zoning Appeals. I know on the agenda tonight is some consideration of some of the vacancies on boards and commissions that are currently available, but given the number of vacancies that we have on that board, we're still looking for some applications there. We did some police civil service testing yesterday as well, testing for the corporal position. So those results will be coming back, and that commission will meet hopefully within the next couple of weeks, depending on holiday schedules, to certify those results. And just to follow up kind of on what Ms. Judy mentioned and Mr. Parker's question, Ms. Judy and I have been going back and forth a little bit looking at producing a budget calendar that just gives some indications of dates and when things happen. I know everybody gets anxious this time of year of seeing that, but we're certainly limited by the information that's available to us. So we thought at least by having a calendar put forward, you'd have some idea of when to expect that type of information, when we'd be having potential meetings about the budget, and sort of what the process will look like. And I think that's all I have, unless anyone, I want to mention one other thing. I believe it was yesterday the governor made an announcement about the bridge funding, and so we are expecting a call, hopefully, in the next few days, anticipating that we may be on the list to receive some funding for the South Davis Avenue Bridge.
Now, they approved a bunch on 79, so I-79.
Different, yeah, there's a lot of different pots within that bridge funding,
That
so.
one was released today, though. They
Yeah.
announced it, so. Thank
So,
you.
anxious for that.
And Ms. Roberts.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple things. Councilor Brosberg and Era talked about the rules and ordinance, and there is something that's going to be coming to you in January that got discussed at that meeting. Some changes in the city code with regard to the election laws. If you'll recall, there were charter changes, and so Jessica went through it, and we went over it about the things that need to be tweaked or taken out. So that'll come to your, hopefully your first January meeting, so we can get that all in place before the election season starts. Second thing is when we get to the resolutions with regard to the different agreements with the different companies that Ms. Judy spoke about, I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have about the documents with regard to that. And one other thing, I think I mentioned this at the last meeting, that I had someone reach out to me just bragging about all the wonderful things they see in Elkins. Well, since that time, I've had 2 people reach out to me that don't live in the area. One who had been through here recently, I believe, on their way to visit family or to ski or do something, and they just could not say enough about how great the downtown looked. They'd stopped for a meal, I believe, and they just went on about all of what the downtown looks like and the real interest that you see in the community and decorating and making it a great place for the holiday season. And then the other person reached out after the Ascend program that was announced that the city is now a participant in and said, you got to realize that you're just one of 4 communities in this whole state that have that, and that's a pretty big deal. So I always like to pass those good things I hear from people that don't live here about what they see going on. It's always helpful to know that. So that's all. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. Can I get some clarification for the public on the upcoming election? I know we have 2 seats for council for, I guess, unfinished terms. When somebody applies, do they have to specify which seat they want?
Yes,
Okay, so whether they want the 2-year or the 4-year?
correct.
Okay, just throwing that out there for the public. Thank you. Okay, moving on to approval of vendor invoice payments.
I move we pay the AP.
Okay, we have a motion. Any comments or discussion? If none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Under unfinished business, Resolution 1592, appointing an operations manager and establishing amount of annual compensation.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion. Any comments or discussion?
Make a comment, Mayor?
Sure.
So we've been trying to hire an operations manager since about August of 2021 after the last operations manager resigned. And I've been chaired the special hiring committee that for the most recent go-around to find an operations manager. And we interviewed lots of candidates, looked over lots of applications. But after many interviews and a lot of consideration, I do think we found the right person. Mr. Kiesecker and his wife are sitting back here for this meeting. So I think pretty well, hands down, after interviewing a lot of quality candidates, we did find the right person. I feel very comfortable in recommending him for the position. The other issue, I guess, is not really an issue, but a comment that I've heard is the starting salary of $70,000, which is much higher than what we're normally used to paying administrative officers and what we normally pay. But I think the committee made the decision, and after the realization that we're going to continuously chase our tail and try to find the right person, a qualified person for the job, and in order to find the right person and to find something that can fulfill all the duties and do a good job, we're going to have to raise, I guess, what we pay that position. And another, I guess, factor in making that decision, as a breakdown that the treasurer provided us, is that the operations manager's salary is not as big a hit to the general fund as you might think, since it's think that position's funded 75% from the general fund, 25% from the sanitation fund. So $70,000, though it looks, that's fairly large, a lot of money to pay someone for a job, it's not as big a hit to the general fund as you might otherwise think. So I just wanted to make those couple comments before council considers that recommendation from the Special Hiring Committee.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions?
I appreciate your filling us in on that. That's very helpful.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Can I just make one comment?
Sure.
I just want to say that I think it's really important to, and although she's not with us here this evening, to, if not give her a pat on the back, potentially even a standing ovation for all the work that she's done in the interim, and that's Melody Himes. She's done a fantastic job in filling in over this last year. I think she's owed a good amount of thanks.
Thank you.
Agreed.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. So Mike, I would like to welcome you and Dee Dee to our family. I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you'd like to say words, you're more than welcome.
Thank you, Mayor, I appreciate it. Just in talking with the hiring committee a couple times back and forth, it's been a very good conversation. Really looking forward to the challenges ahead, and I look forward to meeting each and every one of you individually, getting ideas, suggestions, and just building a stronger team, and then moving forward to making Elkins a better place to live and work. So I look forward to it, and I really can't wait. Thank you, Mayor, for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Well, Mike, based on our conversations, I really didn't think I was putting you on the spot because you usually aren't at a loss for words either. So I thought you'd be comfortable. So
Welcome aboard, Mike.
Welcome to our family. Okay, under new business, ordinance 309, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Elkins, West Virginia, renewing franchise agreement with Sequel 3 Communication 2, doing business as Optimum. This is the second and final reading.
So moved. Yeah, I'll make a motion to go into executive session for attorney-client privilege discussions.
We have a motion to go into executive session. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. It is 7:40.